All right, so getting back to Michelle at the nail salon. Um, I don't know who made you think I would even do anything about it, right? Or would get you and your dad in trouble, which would be the only reason you would try to do something with me normally do, right? And then you would have to change your demeanor towards me after the sex, once again, right? You thought I was trying to blackmail you into it, right? That wasn't the case, right? And I'm sorry if you thought that, but I know I don't even know how you would get my videos normally unless someone told you about them. Applied it to you, like I meant you when I didn't, and I was just talking in general, and how the name Michelle is a popular name, even with the figure skater Michelle Kwan, and all I know is if they told you you look like her, they were right. Right? I know. That ain't my fault though, right? Nor yours, by the way. I wouldn't be trying to do anything with you you didn't want to do. But if you were led to believe I would, it wasn't for me, right? I don't know who would tell you that in my life from the past, maybe. But it wasn't me, right? It was someone who's confused about their own walk with Christ, right? Maybe. Whoever it is. Either from one of my exes, Daphne, because she had a daughter when we met, right? But I didn't meet her till 6 months later almost, right? The problem was I had to stay in Bethesda unexpectedly for 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Though Daphne did tell me she had secured leave for herself for 2 weeks, right? Well, the problem is, I didn't know that when I got back, and I have to request for leave too, right? To stay that long, right? You don't know that, Daphne, right? Well, you didn't tell me that when I got back, right? Well, I got to request leave too, right? By the way, dear. Right, right. I didn't know you were going up there for 2 weeks. I had to be back by Monday, by the way, whether you did or not, right? Or I'll be AWOL, like, so without leave, right? You got to put in a request for leave, right? Especially in the month of August, you don't get leave automatically, right? Mm-hmm. And if you already did, you're supposed to tell me when I get back to do the same thing, right? Or I wouldn't even think of it, right? If you leave the following weekend, I got to be back by Monday still, and only have 3 days to go to you with you to Arkansas, right? Maybe you didn't think about that, right? You understand, right? Now the thing about Amanda, like I said, is she still would have to come here to do anything with me, crazies, right? I never met the girl that I know of during the day or night, right? Where it would be a normal meeting, right? Now, if you did, we had sex. Do you think I really knew it was you, though, Amanda? All right. I don't say that hypothetically, right? If I have amnesia, like your mom's try to follow you to Georgia herself, however you got here, right? Now, Jonathan came twice by plane, when he was 13 and 16, right? Right. Now, you're not supposed to go with him now, normally. Even a 13-year-old can handle a plane ride if his mom brings him to the terminal or something. Now, you have several ways you can get here. Trained. I think they have the old railing system that goes out that way. Bus, right, which would be kind of silly, right, but still possible. Then car, driving yourself, because you were probably over 25 anyway, right? You can rent a car when you turn 25, by the way, right? If you didn't know that. Certain things you can't do, like I'm telling dumbass till a certain age. One of them is even rent a car, right? They don't even let you rent a car till you're 25, right? You can't drink till you're 21, right? You got to register to vote at 18, right? And with armed services, right? Usually, which has to do with the draft and all that, right? And some people joined the military voluntarily because before they didn't have too many problems and weren't going around telling everybody Jesus was talking to them until he heard voices in 93, right? Before that, he was a normal guy, right? Not dealing with all that, right? Once he started hearing the voices, he started acting like he was a prophet from the Bible. You know, kind of goes with the territory. I know. Right. And by the way, dumbass, simply doing the opposite of someone, if they're right and you're wrong, will still get you in trouble with the authorities, right? If you're doing something wrong. Now, if I don't understand a law, like for example, an NDA, right? Which you cannot use an NDA to break any law, right? That's illegal too, right? Right. The NDA still don't make you above the law, right? No, it don't. No, it don't. You can't willfully break a law under an NDA, right? Usually they have a moral clause anyway. And both parties, the company itself and the one they're putting the moral clause on, both have to keep the morals of the clause, right? In other words, you can't sexually harass someone, right? And they're trying to work for you and it not be a HR matter, right? It's always a human resources matter, right? Now, I tell you again, Michelle, I would only love you and make love to you as if you could be my girlfriend, right? If I thought you were 37, right? And I had premarital sex before that, right? And I would only try to treat you as a good man would treat a good woman, right? Though we all mess up, and that's all I'm telling you. If you messed up, we messed up. Though you don't have to come back to me if you're so ashamed of your mess up or fuck up, they say, that we'd never see each other again, too, right? Sometimes people only run into somebody once, and that's either a good thing for the person or a mistake for the person, right? If it's a mistake, I understand. Like I said, right? We all make them, right? But if it shames you what we did, or you feel bad about it, right? Or you think you could have done differently, and it is weighing on your heart, you don't want to be with you ever again or ever even see me. That's not a problem, right? But that's kind of what I'm left with, right? After going out to your dad's store 3 times, I guess, right? If that was the real case, right? Maybe your real daddy would lead you to think that. I don't know. I don't know. But whatever he was doing, he was messed up. And the only time I would actually sleep with a 15-year-old is if I was within a year of her age, right? I didn't think it would matter with the law, right? Because normally I don't do that, right? Now, if you're 16, the youngest you can still legally be with, I thought at the time, was 13 because you're both still minors, right? Now, 17 to 14, you might be kind of pushing it, right? Because sometimes they can charge 17-year-olds as an adult, right? Now, the thing is, though, is if you meet someone younger than you within 3 years, right, you got to make sure if you make it sexual, right, that, and she's in on it or she's fine with it, right, that the mom or everybody else in the family is okay with it, or you stop when you hit 17, right, yourself, right, until she's legally old enough again, right? And then you can be with her again, right? You know what I mean, right? You still got to follow the law above your feelings, right? We all do. That's the purpose of the law, right? But you also can't lie to someone you're 37 when to him he don't know your age, right? And didn't ask your age because he knew he asked your age because he didn't know, right? That part of your life, right? But is that what bothered you, right? That he asked my age and I had to lie suddenly, right? Then I thought I had to bribe him with sex, right? But then I did something worse. I did to black me out somehow, right? We're not gonna say again how, but involves the head area usually for the black me out at all, right? Because only a car wreck or a 3-story fall can really black someone out sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes, right? But most of the time, right? And the reason is that is because of the seatbelts and things like that, right? Now, the thing is, right, whoever put me in the car knows I wear seatbelts around curves, right? Or in the car. That was starting to become mandatory around that time, too. Now, before that, it was kind of optional, right? To there wasn't the trumpet. God bless you, everyone. God bless you, everyone. Right? Now, like most people, though, I was brought up in America trying to follow the rules, right? And I didn't have too much problem following the rules until I got into the Navy, right? And now I'm trying to explain what happened in life, right? And it mainly had to do with two problems I had. A church that was teaching me to masturbate with them, their pastor, by the way, Gene and Daphne and Marybelle, right? And I knew that wasn't normal, but I tried not to judge them either, but I didn't get involved with it personally, right? The other problem was a shipmate named Ben Campbell specifically kept asking me more than once if I was gay, and I kept having to tell him no. It even got a little physical between me and him. We had to get into he challenged me to fight him or something, right? I felt like I was in a damn Western or where you had to prove you like women or something, and I started sleeping with a few ladies, right? Because I read what Moses said about premarital sex. And most of them were willing to have sex with me, right? At least 5, at least 12. Other girls I tried to be with were wanted to be with me equally, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the first girl was white, the second girl was black. Mm-hmm. The next two were white. Mm-hmm. Then the next one was black. Mm-hmm. And then when I met Miss Johnson, right, who was mixed black, I was kind of in a pattern of premarital sex with the women I was with, right? Now, the problem is when we met, Sheena, it's what's called the heat of the moment, right? I was hot for you. I was passionate for you, right? And when someone's passionate for you, you need to throw up a stop sign, right? If you're one of those church girls who wants to wait for marriage before you have sex. See, the problem with that is I don't know that automatically. Reason is the prodigal son can also be the prodigal daughter, right? And nobody's perfect unless you tell me, right? And a wedding is not just for the mother and the father as it is for the son, right? Yeah. Yeah. Now, Isaac, like I told you, because his mother died before he got married, right? He just took Rebecca into his tent and started knowing it, right? They didn't even have a little ceremony because he was the chosen bride, right? Now, he didn't cheat on her, and I'm not sure she didn't have a problem that she didn't went to Ishmael as well. See, if she did that, one of the children might have been Ishmael's, right? I don't know. Maybe Esau, right? But somehow she also released another egg, right? Because see, unlike T and Tamara Maoris, right? These two were fraternal twins, right? Meaning each egg was got fertilized by another sperm, right? As we say it today. Now Moses did point out two shall be one flesh, right? Meaning both parties, the mother and the father, contribute to the child, right? Now, he did point out, though, that a slave is not above a wife, though, right? Now, if you have two wives, like Leah and Rachel, right? That's a different matter, right? You can't despise the firstborn of the wife you hate, right? Just because, again, right? The wife you love, because you make some kind of crazy agreement with the dad, right? That you won't marry the other daughter to 7 years later, and mysteriously she don't get pregnant during that time while you're with her, right? So she thinks she has a reproach among women, right? And uses another woman, her handmaid, her servant girl, right? Like Sarah did with Hagar, right? To try and have a child with you, right? Through her. Alright? I'm not saying that's something you can't do. It is an option. It's called surrogacy when you do that, right? Now, it works two ways, right? Men can also need a surrogate sperm donor, right? And that's not your fault, men, right? I'm not naming names, right? But if you gotta do that sometimes, right? Which I think the woman at the well represents that too, right? And Jesus was the seventh man she met and might have fulfilled the prophecy mentioned in Isaiah about the seven women taking on as one man. So the Sadducees, when dealing with the resurrection, asked Jesus if a woman that had seven brothers to husband her all had her a wife, whose wife would she be in the resurrection, right? Well, the resurrection ain't not married be you and married you, right? You being resurrected from the dead, right? That's never act, right? Now, the problem is Luke adds in the world to come. No. He's wrong. He's a man and not God either. The only way you can get here is reproduction, right? He's lying to you unintentionally, right? It's a lie of ignorance. He was a doctor, but not necessarily Jesus himself, right? Now, you don't ask a man who was designed to reproduce and in the reproductive form of God, right, not to have children if he can, or again, for a woman if she can as well. Only the barren, like I told you, right, male or female, will sometimes have a problem conceiving a child with the husband or the wife. And the problem could be on both ends. We don't know. We don't know. Medical science ain't caught up to, right? Does DNA or does blood type matter when you're reproducing, right? Yeah. That could be an issue as well when they're blood typing, right? Now, just as A blood don't mix with B blood, right? To get AB, you need two Bs, right? To get AB, right? And O blood can mix with any blood, but not AB, right? Though AB can receive A or B, right? And NO, right? Maybe it can only reproduce with AB, right? Blood type, right? I don't know. But one O can only reproduce with that, right? Especially if it's O negative, right? Or A negative, which is what my stepdad's blood type is, right? With my mom, but she would also have to give an O negative egg, right? For an A be O negative as well, right? So you need two negative genes there, Renee, if you know what I mean, right? I'm O positive. If me and my mom, hypothetically, no, don't get serious, were to have sex, I would produce an O positive baby with my mom if she's O positive, Renee, not negative. It wouldn't even compute joined together with a negative, right? But if your guy is negative, it might say why it took a long time to conceive with him, right? Until she released a negative egg, right? Too. Every day also told me she's negative blood type too, so that means mom had to release an O negative gene, which means she's O negative recessive. Now, again, her body can't discern my sperm from Big Riley's sperm either, Renee, right? So it's the fastest sperm that gets to the egg. And if I'm O positive, right, the only way it can be O negative, even if I'm both, right, is if the O negative is somehow faster than the O positive, right? Which don't make sense by the numbers, right? See, mom also either releases an O negative or an O positive egg as well. And I'm trying to make sure you know I don't really seriously believe this. But again, right, that also means she's O negative recessive. Either Mima or Granddaddy did that with her, right? Well, that's the thing, right? I don't know if you have two O positive persons, the mom releases an O negative gene. Unless you're O negative, right? Yourself, right? And not A negative, which would suggest you're Big Roddy's, by the way. Or he's O negative too, right? See, A can be AA or AO, right? By the way. There's pairings there, right? Too. What that means, though, is the A negative is either from Big Roddy's dad, and he either paired with his mom, who was also A negative, or she was O negative, right? Or vice versa, right? But someone has to be either A negative, both, right? Or A negative, O negative for A to B, right? A, right? Now, AB requires two B's, oddly enough, and you can't get it through the joining of an A and a B, right? It's kind of strange about that. No. Two A's, you just got a negative or a positive blood type, right? But an A and a B makes AB. I mean, two B's make AB. The blood kind of does some kind of weird mutation thing, right? And it becomes both with B. At least that's what we were told growing up. Unless you're releasing bad information, right? Which means you're not paying attention in science, which can get you into a lie and a hypothesis that's wrong, right? See, any hypothesis is a theory to start out with, meaning it's an educated guess based on the current education of the doctors or whoever's doing the hypothesis, by the way, and scientists, right? Now, medical science also knows about hermaphrodites the same as the Bible seems to be implicating the male and female are one in Christ Jesus, literally, right? Because John describes Jesus with Stethos in chapter 13, but Mastois in chapter 11 of Revelations, right? And here he's revealing secrets, right? That they didn't say in the scriptures up to them, right? He says, right? The revelation of Jesus Christ. He's trying to tell you more information about Jesus that they didn't want to tell you because there were 7 seals that were sealed in the back of at the back of the book, right? Meaning even the book of Numbers, right, deals with Balaam, right? And that God is not like Adam, right? Nor the son of Adam, right? Jesus was not born of a woman who knew no man, right? Meaning either Mary was a hermaphrodite herself, right? To conceive Jesus, right? Or he was placed in her womb as a day-old embryo, fully conceived, because he was the angel of the Lord that went before Israel, right? Trying to get them to know it in God versus the devil who was being the bad God in the Old Testament and punishing Israel for their sins, right? Now, the way he did this was in Eden, he tricked Eve and then Adam into sex with him, right? And they ate of the fruit of his body, right? Not the fruit of his of a fruit tree. You'll be seed to you it shall be for meat, right? Now they also ate herbs and vegetables and things like that, right? That's not your problem, by the way. It's not pharmakia either, John, right? If it's based on chemicals in the planet, right? Those things we have here are to help us, right? As we get, right? Even medication, right? For your high blood pressure, whatever. Pain, whatever, right? But like I told you, the problem with the pain is it happens every day without much moving around on my part, right? Now, sometimes just sitting here a couple hours, I'm being pain, right? And it's hard to move when I hit that level of pain, yet to even walk, right? And I might need assistance when walking, like a cane or even a chair, right? I'm trying to get me a mobility chair right now, right? I mean, the cheapest one is $850. Even to get a lift chair is over $700 to $850, right? And usually they don't come in a lot of different colors either, right? I would need probably a tan to get rid of the what I'm sitting on now, which is black. But anyway, that's the point, right? And like I said, Michelle, all I could do is apologize to you, pay my bill, and leave, right? If you think you've done this enough, right? But have a nice day.